Well, it looks like we're starting to drive away from Zion National Park. What an amazing place, right? It was hidden away from our Western eyes for a very long time, and I sure hope you were impressed. I'm going to continue our tour along Highway 9 for about another 25 minutes or so until we reach the town of Laverkin. From there, I'll give us options about which way we can go to continue on. But I do have a couple more stops to suggest along the way, and of course, as always, you know me, a few more stories to share too. So, what did you think of Zion? Amazing, right? Also, crowded, perhaps? Zion is one of the most popular national parks in the United States. The only two parks that are consistently more popular are the Great Smoky Mountains and the Grand Canyon. Visitation across the United States continues to grow year after year, while federal funding continues to drop. All this begs the question, are national parks being loved to death? Who could have imagined that Zion's entrance gate, which is only 2 lanes, would become woefully inadequate? Managing the constant increase in crowds is one of the biggest challenges facing national parks managers today. For visitors, this is most evident in the quality of the experience. For example, wait times simply to enter the park can be up to 2 hours on a peak day. Then face a lineup for the shuttle. All that time waiting takes away from time enjoying the park. We don't really have enough rangers to handle the influx of visitors. Even crucial operations such as search and rescue are stretched thin, as more people find themselves lost or in places they can't get out of. And unfortunately, there are always those visitors who purposely or ignorantly behave badly, damaging the ecosystem they've come to enjoy. Finally, there's the challenge of general maintenance. The deferred maintenance backlog runs into tens of billions of dollars across all parks. There's no money to repair trails, improve parking, or even replace bathrooms. Park budgets are an area where it seems easy for politicians to make cuts. So park administration do the best they can. When the national parks were first declared, we just didn't know how many millions of feet would be treading across our wilderness areas. If we drove together along 89 from Bryce to Zion, then you learned about Kanab being the location for more than 100 Western movies and TV shows. Just ahead of the tiny town of Rockville, we can turn off to one of the film locations for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. A nearby ghost town called Grafton was where Paul Newman rode a bike circus style while Catherine Ross and a decidedly less impressed Bull looked on. If you know the movie, then you might recognize some of those surrounding rock formations. Grafton was founded by Mormon settlers in 1859 along the Virgin River, but seasonal flooding and conflicts with Native Americans made life difficult, and residents abandoned Grafton for Rockville instead by the early 1900s. I'll point out where we can turn for the ghost town, which has a few 19th century pioneer cabins, the famous barn, and a church and schoolhouse. It's an interesting 30-minute diversion if we have the time. There isn't really a sign, but the turnoff for Grafton Ghost Town is coming up at the first small paved road on our left. This turn is kind of easy to miss, so drive slowly. The name of the street you're turning onto is Bridge Road.
It's right here.
Well, look at you, adventurer. Looks like we're heading to Grafton. Nice work. We're going to pass over a cool 1-lane bridge now. Follow the road as it turns right after the bridge and stay on it for 3 miles until you reach the Grafton Ghost Town. We'll pass the turnoff for the 4x4 Smithsonian Butte Byway on your left in about 1.5 miles. Just come back this way to get back onto the tour. To the right here. That road that turns off to the left is the Smithsonian Butte Road. The one I mentioned was popular with 4x4 drivers and mountain bikers. The last section of our road to Grafton is not paved. If it's rained recently, we might have to go slow if it's become potholed, but it is maintained and should be fine for most regular vehicles. If it is actually wet out now, it'd be best to enjoy the view, but don't drive the unpaved section. Otherwise, we risk getting stuck. The buildings is just a little further ahead. You can actually go inside any of the buildings that are open, take some photos, and imagine yourself living a very basic life, but set in this beautiful location. Although it has to be said that the construction quality of these homes and buildings is quite good compared to many other rustic cabins I'm sure we've seen in our travels. When we're done, we'll drive back to Highway 9 the same way we came in.